Hi everyone, welcome to Planted Seed. My name is Jessica and I'm the founder of Planted Seed. So for Women's History Month, I decided to interview some real power hitters, and one is one of my closest friends, best friend. She's a role model to me and she's just so driven. I wanted to interview her and kind of talk about how it was as a teen for her and growing up. So I'm going to let her take the floor and talk about who she is and what she's doing with herself right now.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all your kind words. They mean the world to me. A little bit about me. I was a software engineer for about 20 years, so I worked for corporate for 20 years. I grew in my career tremendously within those 20 years, but the last pre-COVID, post-COVID, when COVID first started, I burnt out, and I decided to pursue things that I was more passionate about. I feel like when you're working for corporate, you dedicate yourself 100% to your career and your family, and you don't really have time to spend on things that you truly love and are passionate about. So, with my job burning me out, I realized that it was time for me to do things that I truly loved. And I feel with my work ethic, I just was confident that if I do something that I truly love, that I'll be successful at it, just because I'm a hustler,
Right.
Absolutely. So, for the past year, I guess we've been COVID for a year, I have been busting my tushy with my clothing brand, Dominant Vibes.
Obviously, this is one of the shirts because I have to represent.
And Dominant is both of my sons' names, Dom and Ant. So that's how we came up with Dominant. And Vibes, I'm all about energy and, vibes. So it's a female empowering clothing brand. Mm-hmm. We are not only about the clothes, but we're about educating people on social issues and social injustices. We like to do a lot for the community. We work with Period West New York. We donate 100% of our sticker proceeds to Period West New York. So we like to do a lot within the community, and we want our clothing to make women feel good and feel empowered and feel strong and feel vocal about their beliefs. And it's a learning experience. I'm trying to learn how to incorporate who I am, my personality, my love for fashion, and tie it into my brand, and also creating something that people will love and appreciate. And in addition to Dominant Vibes, I have an event planning business that I've been doing for the past 3 years. That was kind of like a creative outlet while I was working corporate.
Yes, that is so beautiful.
And then with COVID, it was kind of put to a pause. So yeah, I'm a hustler pretty much. Yeah. I like to do things that I'm passionate about, and I like to work really hard.
So with you having a teenage son, obviously what our basis of Planted Seed is, we want to, reach out to kids, but I wanted to speak to parents too and ask them, how was your teenage years? Like middle school, high school, like how was that era? How was that time for you? Although we did go to the same high school, but everybody has a different perception and experience in that school. So can you just fill me in a little bit, like, how was it being teenage Gray?
I was a very wild soul.
Weren't we together?
I didn't have a lot of guidance. I didn't have any guidance as a kid. I pretty much was raising myself throughout my high school years. I was, a lot with my friends. Yeah. So I partied a lot, and school was not my number one priority. I didn't have, my future and what I was going to do as a grown-up didn't even cross my mind throughout the 4 years of high school. I was just barely making it through my high school years, and I was partying a lot. Yeah. So I was definitely a wild soul. Yeah. I didn't get my SHIT together until, you graduate high school and you realize, crap, man, what am I going to do with my life? If I continue on this path, I'm going to be broke. Yeah. And I have very expensive taste, so I needed to get it together.
We'll see. So then who was your role model, like, in that time, like that time frame? Like, did you have a role model or a mentor, like someone that you looked up to, even fictitiously, like, okay, this is who I want to be when I grow up, minus the career path, like just as a woman, as a young lady growing up to a woman?
I never had I unfortunately didn't have a lot of people in my life that I looked up to and were, close to me and were role models. But I knew, even from a young girl, I always looked up to successful businesswomen. I remember those 90s movies with those corporate women and, being powerhouses. That was always something that got my attention, and I always looked at myself as something as that being something that I wanted to be. I also have fashion icons that I look up to, like Diane von Furstenberg. She, if you're not familiar with her, she pretty much invented the wrap dress. And yes, so she is a powerhouse, and I'm obsessed with her. And so she's always been kind of like a role model as well. So just powerful women are goals.
Right. Seriously.
For me.
Oh, same here. So, and then now you have you have a teenager at home as well. So what do you try to instill in him that wasn't instilled in you as a teen?
Hard work. And stay focused, control your emotions. I'm big on people may treat you a certain way, but how you react determines who you are as a person. So if somebody triggers you and you just react first, you look like the one that doesn't have control of yourself. So I try to teach him discipline, I guess mental, discipline with others, and work ethic. Hard work will bring you, you'll get fruits for your labor. Like if you work really hard, you will get rewarded. Nothing will come easily to you. Education, I definitely is a number one priority for him, is school and getting good grades and going to college. And I don't care what he does in college, but as long as he goes to college and works hard, I have no doubt that he'll be successful.
Right. So you're dropping these gems, and I feel that sometimes teens, they don't listen to parents. So that's, again, where Planted Seed comes in, that, they may need someone else to tell them exactly what their parents are saying. So what would you, as you being adult now, tell teenage Gray?
Education is really important. It took me longer than it should have if I was focused in high school. Even if you don't know what you want to do with your future career, doing good in high school will just set you up earlier, ahead of time, for success. So if you do good in high school, take the right classes, do what you're supposed to get into a good school, then when you get into college, you have some time to figure out what career path you want to take. But you've already, you get a head start on it a little bit. If you don't do what you're supposed to do in high school, then you have to take extra classes in college, and it ends up taking you a little bit longer to get it together. And I just think that I forgot your question. I lost my train of thought.
It's because you're probably thinking about, I need to put this fashion on Jessica right now.
I don't know but this is what makes this interviews fun.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes it's real life. It's real life. I started thinking about my son and what I tell him to do with college and everything.
What would you tell teenage Gray?
Focus on school. Boys are the last thing that you should ever think about. I wouldn't change the partying and living, because I think that everybody should live, because you learn from those experiences. Absolutely. So I wouldn't have changed, maybe I wouldn't have gone out as much, but
or ended up in New York at 17 years old,
or in the clubs at 17, 18 years old. But I would have just, told me to focus more on my education, and told me, I wish I would have appreciated learning as much as I do now. And just focus on education, travel a lot, and focus on your success. Just your success, setting your future up for success, learning, education, traveling, just enjoying life, but in a full way.
Right, being. Yes, just to be.
Yeah.
Got it. So tell me a fun fact about you.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people know a lot of stuff about me because I'm pretty open with my social media, but I'm a lefty.
Yeah.
I don't think many people know that about me, and my middle name is Abby, and my family calls me Abby.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I know. When I first heard Abby, I'm like, who is Abby? I'm like, oh, is this your alter ego?
They don't call me Grayleen at all.
Yeah.
They don't even pronounce it right.
And lefties are very creative, so if if you're lefty, get into this creativity. You know, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough to doing this interview with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, and I hope that you get to watch this on, you can find this on our website at planted-seedgroup.com. And you can find it on Instagram at Planted Seed Group. And eventually we're going to start our YouTube. So you'll definitely find that there. Gray, can you just give us a little background? You can give your plugs of your businesses.
Social media?
Yeah.
So we're at Dominant, DOMINANT_vibes, VIBES on Instagram. And then my event planning business is at Events and Styling by Gray.
Wow, thank you so much.
much
And you'll probably also see me modeling and helping out and always supporting small businesses because, and especially women-owned businesses,
Yes.
because
women owned,
we rock.
women owned, women owned, women run, women.
Yes, and happy Women's History Month. Thank you so much. Bye, y'all.